What's up guys, Dazaraz from UVG here, bringing you some pre-Legion launch tips on how to choose a class. So all you returning and new WoW players coming back to play Legion may be asking yourselves, what class am I going to play? Which is a very good question coming back into the game, and in my opinion can be a very difficult decision. But don't you worry, Dazaraz got your back. First off, we're going to talk about is what role we want to play in Legion. Maybe you want something different in this expansion than previous past. And then we're going to discuss the 3 roles in depth and the classes that you can choose to that specific role. So first off, we need to find out what role we want to play in Legion and what fits our personalities the best. Now, for all you new WoW players, there is 3 roles to choose from. We got the tanks, we got the healers, and we got the DPS, also known as our damage per second people. First role we're going to take a look at is the tank. Now all the new players might be asking, what is a tank? Well, a tank is the upfront person who takes the main boss damage and holds the boss or mob's threat. Basically saying they are the first person to engage in the fight and keeps all mobs and bosses attacking them through the whole fight. Now, tanks also pop cooldowns, or what we like to call them mitigation spells, to take less damage. The main goal for a tank is to keep the threat and to take as less damage as possible. Doing these 2 things will make you a very successful tank in Legion. Next thing we need to consider is what style of tanking would we like to do. Now there are 3 different weapon type tanks. First we got is our one-handed weapon and shield. Now these one-handed weapons include swords, maces, and axe in our main hand, and the shield in our offhand. Next we got is the two-hander weapons, which use two-handed swords, maces, and axes as well. Also we got is the dual-wield tanks, which is 2 one-handed swords in each hand. Now this is brand new in Legion, so this is going to be very cool and unique style of play. Now we also have different styles of tanking to choose from as well. First off, we got is our physical damage mitigators, which take damage straight to the face and mitigate most of it off or ignoring most of the damage taken. Next we got is the healing tanks, which basically heal themselves throughout the whole fight, the damage they take. And last we got is the evasive tanks, which dodge or parries most of the damage coming to them. Now these tanks are a high risk, high reward tanks and can sometimes be unpredictable on the damage taken. So after all that, we need to discuss what tanking classes that we can choose from. Well, the first tanking class we're going to look at is the Protection Warrior. Now these tanks use the one-hander and shield weapons and use physical damage mitigation spells. These tanks are very fun to play, and if you like using shields and blocking enemies' attacks, this is your class to pick from, guys. Now, they are also very mobile with Charge and Heroic Leap spell, which makes it nice for picking up different adds that are spread out across the room or fight. Next we got is the Protection Paladin. These tanks use the one-hander and shield weapons and use physical damage mitigation spells as well. Paladins are like the magic warrior of the tanks, and they play very similar but have unique ways on how to use their mitigation spells than the warrior. Next we got is the Blood Death Knight. Now these tanks use the two-hander weapons and heal the damage that they take. Death Knights have a couple of spells that heal them throughout the fight, and they also have a nice utility spell called Gorfiend's Grasp and Death Grip, which yanks enemies towards them and makes it very nice when adds are spread out all over the room. Next we got is the Brewmaster Monk. Now these tanks use two-hander weapons as well and are evasive and physical mitigation tanks. Now monks use brews to take a damage away or mitigate a ton of damage. They also have some evasive abilities that help them with taking less damage. Most of them are passive abilities. They are very fun fighting style tank to play, and they're just generally fun because it's almost like playing a kung fu. Yeah, they're just fighting and punching all over. It's pretty awesome. Now next we got is the Guardian Druid, which is our most popular tank in Legion at the moment. Now these tanks use two-hander weapons and use physical mitigation spells to take away a lot of physical damage. Now these tanks are unique because they can transform into a bear, which has been graphically upgraded in Legion and gives it a cooler style of tanking play. And last we got is the Vengeance Demon Hunter. This class uses two one-handed weapons and has physical mitigation and evasive abilities. Now, Demon Hunters have a mix of all tanking classes into one. They have a little bit of everything as a tank to use in a fight, but they have their own style and unique gameplay. Now, these tanks are brand new in Legion, so you're going to be seeing them everywhere. Next role we got is our healers. So first off, what does a healer do? Well, the healers keep the group alive as the fight goes on. People will take damage in a fight, and it's the healer's responsibility to keep them healed up and alive. Now, healers mostly stay at range, so if you'd rather be in melee with the boss, healing may not be cut out for you because most of the time you are at range. Now we got different styles and types of healings. First we got is the single or AoE healing. What do you prefer healing as? Over one person or over many other people? Is whatever fits your personality is best. Now we got three types of healers. First is the direct healers, which use many healing spells to heal party members. Next we got is the damage dealing healing people, which means they do damage to an enemy that turns into healing unto party members. And last we got is the HOTS, or healing over time spells, which does ticking heals and heals a total amount over a certain amount of time. So after all that, we need to discuss our healing classes. The first healing class we're going to discuss is the Priest. Now the Priest has two different specs to choose from to heal with. We got Holy and Discipline. Now first off, Holy Priests have many direct healing spells and big area of effect healing spells for the party members. These healers are very nice when you need to put out a large amount of heals on one member in the party or a large group of members as well. The other spec is Discipline Priest, which does damage to a target and creates healing to the party. These healers are very nice because if you need a little bit of extra damage in a fight, because they are doing two jobs into one, damage and healing. Next we got is the Mistweaver Monk. This class is very fun to heal on because they have some passive abilities that constantly channel healing into a member free of cost if they're not doing anything. It's a very efficient way to heal, and if there's not a bunch of damage going out, it is very conservative. Next we got is the Restoration Druid. They mostly use the HOTS, or the heal over time spells, to heal up party members. Druids have many hot heals and direct heals as well, so they are very well-rounded healer and very enjoyable to play. Next we got is the Restoration Shaman. They use direct and AoE spells to heal. They mostly have water animation and use totems to heal their party members. They are very fun to play and very useful when there's a lot of damage being thrown out there, because as one of their passes, the lower the party member's health is, the more they heal, which makes it very nice when people are running low on health. Last we got is the Holy Paladin. Now the Paladin is very similar to the Holy Priest, but has a few different healing spells and ways to play. They are very great because Paladins can put on bubbles on people as they heal, which helps a lot with damage mitigation because it's free healing. So the last role we're going to talk about is the DPS, or the damage role. So what does the damage people do? Well, it's very obvious. They do lots and lots and lots of damage in the fight. DPS' main goal is to do as much damage as possible in as little time needed. DPS also like seeing huge, big, beefy numbers popping on their screen because it fits their personality, and it's awesome because you're just doing so much damage. Also, DPS is awesome because classes have some very flashy spell effects come Legion time, because Blizzard has upgraded a lot of spell effects and has made it very cool in Legion to be a DPS. So now, what type of DPS are there to choose from? Well, first off, we got is our physical damage dealers, which use weapons to do damage. Next we got is our spell damage people, which use staves and stuff, but it's not really a weapon to choose from because they're casting a lot of stuff. Now there are two other types to choose from. We got melee and range. Melee are DPS that attack the boss up close, and range are DPS that attack from afar. So if you like being far from the fight at a distance, I recommend you picking a range clash, which will probably fit you more, and vice versa with the melee. So now we gotta discuss our damage classes. Starting out with the melee classes. First we got is the Rogue. The Rogue
has a few different playstyles to choose from, but does physical damage in all styles. You can have daggers and being sneaky and stealthy, and you could also have daggers and do heavy poison damage to your enemies. Rogues also have one-hander weapon play, and also bringing out a mini pistol to shoot at their targets. And it's kind of like a pirate, in a way. Next we got is the Demon Hunter. They use physical damage while dual-wielding one-hander weapons.
They can also turn into what we call a metamorphosis form, which is very demon-like and can pull some very beefy numbers in the time that's popped. They are a very mobile class and are very fun to play and have a unique gameplay style to bring into Legion. Next we got is the Druids, which turn into a cat form to do damage, and that form has also got a graphic design upgrade. Their gameplay is using bleeds as a big damage dealer and bleed and scratch their targets to death. Next we got is the Monk, which is a fighting style class and punches and kicks to do damage. Also kind of like Kung Fu, like the Brewmaster. They are very flashy class and are very fun to play in Legion as well. Next we got is the Shaman, which has a lot of lightning flashy moves and is very active spec. They dual wield one-handers in each hand, and it's pretty cool and pretty flashy. They have some fire abilities that burns the target over time, and lightning, Sith Lord from Star Wars, kind of like that kind of stuff. Next is the Hunter, but some of you returning players may be saying, Hunters don't have a melee spec. What is Dazarez talking about? Well, guess what, guys? In Legion, they do. Survival is now a melee spec using a two-handed weapon and using turrets as extra damage, which makes this spec very unique in Legion because we never really saw any WoW classes having turrets to use damage from. Next we got is the Warrior, which dual-wield one-hander weapons and also has a spec for two-hander weapons. And what these guys do is slash their foe to death with rampaging attacks. These things actually go crazy. They're very cool spec to play and also are very mobile and very exciting to play and have a good unique style gameplay to themselves as well. Next we got is the Paladin, which use holy strikes and unholy wrath to damage their foes and have holy flashy abilities as well to do damage. They are basically a magical warrior, and they're pretty similar to the warrior but have a different style with flashy plays. Last we got is the Death Knight, which are very good coming into Legion. Now, one gameplay you can choose is the Frost side, which uses Frost Strikes and ability to freeze and damage your enemies. And then you got the Unholy, which diseases your enemies and explode for maximum damage when they are defeated. Now we're going to take a look at the range classes. First we got is the Priest, which has a whole different design than before, and the Priests basically go insane, starting casting spells very quickly, and everyone's dying, and boom, it's all gone. Which is, I mean, in my opinion, it looks like a very fun spec to play and is very flashy. Now we got the Mage, which has 3 different types of spells to choose from. We got Frost, Fire, or Arcane spells. Now these specs all play very similar, but have few different spells per class and are very flashy spec to choose from. And next we got is the Warlock, which have 3 different specs to choose from. The first spec we're going to take a look at is Destruction, which has massive fire and chaos spells and hits very hard. If you ever seen Gul'dan do some stuff, take a look at it. It's pretty similar. Second is Affliction, which uses massive diseases to damage to a target. And third is the Demonology spec, which summons lots and lots of demons to fight by you in battle. It's like summoning the Legion as yourself. Next we got is the Druid, which turns into a Moonkin form at range and can cast nature and star spells to do damage. This spec has been definitely upgraded greatly, and it's a bit more flashier and fun to play, in my opinion. Next we got is the Hunter. First we got is the Beastmasters, which have exotic pets out to do massive damage for you and to kill on command. Now second off, for the Hunters is the Marksmen, which put out a lot of damage into using your ranged weapon. Imagine yourself being a sniper. That's basically what it is at range with a hunter. And last we got is the shaman, which casts lightning and lava spells and causes earthquakes on the ground at range. It's pretty awesome because it's almost a spammable ability, so there's earthquakes going around everywhere. Think of Thrall for the shamans at range. So, now that we covered all 3 roles in the classes, I hope that I have helped you out and give you a general idea of what class to choose for Legion. If you need anything further explained more or wanted to know more, drop a comment down below and don't forget to rate and subscribe. That's all I got for today, guys, and we will see you in Legion.